Some of you may know that I love quilting. I've made several blankets over the years. Some I've gifted to friends, and some will never be finished. I don't know why. For me, sewing is therapeutic, but according to my next guest, it's also an opportunity to build community and transform lives. They're the founder of a nonprofit sewing studio in Portland that's become a force for social change. That makes them a good neighbor. Please welcome Frances, the founder of Sincere Studio. Tell us more about Sincere Studio.
So Sincere Studio, we are Portland's only nonprofit sewing studio. And we're essentially a school, so you can come and take classes, we have workshops, events, and we're also kind of a community center. So we have a lot of different sewing clubs, for example. We have BIPOC Sewing Club twice a month, we have Queer and Trans Sewing Club, so kind of different affinity groups that you can join. And yeah, it's just a place where like anyone without any sewing skills can walk in off the street and learn to sew and make some community.
That's cool. Out of a love for it. Yeah. So this was also inspired by the pandemic, correct?
Yeah. So I think like everyone else, the pandemic, I was lonely.
Yeah.
And so as we started to come out of that, I moved to Portland and I was also looking for community. And so I essentially posted online, hey, does anyone want to sit at the park and work on sewing projects, craft projects? So I went to the park, laid out a bunch of quilts, and people just started showing up.
Yeah.
And some people came and they wanted to like really socialize and talk and have conversations, and other people came and just wanted to be around other people. And so I saw how important that kind of space is.
For sure. You also help support those in need, right? This is a big thing for you.
Yeah. So first of all, at the studio, it's a community-centered space. And so to make it accessible for everybody, we have a lot of free classes. We also have sliding scale. So it's really easy to, again, just walk in off the street, and that financial barrier to sewing is lowered significantly.
Yeah.
The other thing, though, that we do is we have a lot of very enthusiastic community members, and so we're always looking for ways to use sewing for good.
Yeah.
So we have Mutual Aid Mending Club, which essentially we mend things for other organizations. So we mend sleeping bags for unhoused folks. We also mend clothing for shelters, and so we're able to use all of our sewing skills to benefit the community.
There's nothing cooler than making a blanket for someone. I love doing it, whether it's quilting or crocheting. It's something like that's so cool and it feels special, like every time it was handmade for you. And
Absolutely.
What are your proudest moments since opening the studio?
I think one thing is just seeing how good at sewing people have become. There's been a lot of people that have learned to sew at Sincere Studio and then just took off and ran with it. For example, somebody learned how to quilt. Well, first they learned how to sew, and then they learned how to quilt. And then she recently won a blue ribbon at the Oregon State Fair for her quilt.
Oh, she's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just like, I'm so proud of just the sewing skills.
Yeah.
But the other thing is I'm most proud of the community aspect. And so twice a year we have an event called Sew and Tell, which is
That's cute.
show and tell for sewing projects.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
You know, we want to get offline and be in person with each other and share our projects and, you know, just clap for each other, you know?
Yeah.
And so we have that twice a year, and you will see me in the background with my giant iPad taking pictures of everyone and just like,
Yeah.
So.
It's really special and important. I'm here with good neighbor Frances, the founder of Sincere Studio in Portland, Oregon. It's a nonprofit sewing studio that not only teaches sewing, it supports community members in big and small ways. One of those members is Karen, who's with us now. Give it up for Karen. Looks so cute, and I just noticed the inside. You made this, right?
Yeah, I made this.
I love the cuties on the inside. That's really good. You can't see, but even close up the detail, we're talking about how each individual thing is literally a different piece. That took time.
It took about 8 weeks. So
oh my God, that would take me
time.
longer. Okay. Just because, you know, life happens too and doing it. What, did you ever know how to sew before Sincere Studio?
I just knew like a little bit. My mom, one of her first jobs when she got to the US was being a seamstress. So I always kind of viewed it like more utilitarian and didn't really know that it was like a whole hobby, right? It was something outside of a
fun,
job.
not just work.
Yeah, totally. But, you know, I'm originally from LA and I moved to Portland like 7, 8 years ago. studio, and I was looking for community and looking for a hobby. I tried, I think like a lot of people, a lot of hobbies, and would get really frustrated that I wasn't instantly perfect at it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I will never learn Spanish or play the piano.
Yeah. But you know, I took my first class at Sincere, and it was just a whole different ballgame. You know, it really gave me the confidence. It made me realize that like mistakes, as much as I don't want them to be, are part of the process.
Yeah.
And I think it just made me feel like I was in community, I was allowed to make mistakes, and I was allowed to learn a lot of things.
How did you find out about Sincere Studio?
I just Googled it. I think I like thought about making clothes. You know, I don't like shopping. Clothes always fits weird. Like
Yeah.
it either is too long, too short, too tight somewhere.
Yeah.
And so I thought like, oh, maybe that is something that I could actually do.
Yeah.
So I just Googled it, and Sincere came up, and it was like walking distance from my house, which was really nice. And I just tried it.
That's amazing. All right. Well, you have classes, but also people teach each other as well, right?
Yeah, so we have a lot of different classes. We have everything from mending your clothes to garment construction, quilting, even pattern drafting. But I think this is something that Karen has kind of experienced, is that when you're in that community, people are really excited to teach each other. And so during our open sew times and our sewing clubs, you'll often see someone ask, does anyone know how to do this? Does anyone know how to work this tool? And people will always jump in and are just excited to share that knowledge. And so that's something that's been really, really awesome to see at the studio.
Yeah. I think it's, yes. I think also, I don't know if y'all find this, but it's so therapeutic for me. Do you find that as well, like kind of meditative?
Yeah, I do. And I think even, you know, using Sincere in the studio, like being able to go to like the BIPOC hours and like be in community, right? It's like a reason
Yeah.
for me to get out of the house when I don't feel like getting out of the house.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just really, you know, really rewarding, and yeah, it is really therapeutic, and
Yeah.
yeah, also really great to see the end product.
Yeah, it's like a heart, there's nothing better.
Yeah.
When you finally, you're like, I finished it! It's like, you're so excited. That was a lot of energy. I'm sorry, I apologize. You have something that you want to tell Francis, right?
I do. You know, Francis always says that they are a very behind-the-scenes person. You know, I think even doing this was a feat, but I really wanted to say thank you. You know, like, I think, yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, but I'm proud of you. It's a really cool community that you've built, and yeah, you deserve your moment, and I hope there are many more moments for you.
Well, thank you for being a part of it.
Of course.
I hope too that this catches on in like different communities. I think a lot of people could use this kind of community and support and just creative outlets in general. It's very, very cool. Well, for 175 years, that's a lot of years, Singer has empowered people to learn to sew, and they love how Sincere Studio does the same. So they're donating $5,000 just to pitch in and help out. Thank y'all so much for joining us.